Hello, hello. If anyone's joining us tonight as we start up, just looking for. Staring at my lights. Let me see if I can adjust them slightly down. That's a bit better. They're not staring at me in my face. Welcome, welcome. It's Melinda from Scrapbooking and Craft. Just going to log on my phone and see if this is actually working. It's been a while since I did a live, so wouldn't be surprised if we didn't have volume or picture. I can see a picture on my screen, but does that mean it's working? So welcome to a Friday night, live with Melinda. The first one for this year. Where did this year go? It gone. I can hear that on my phone. So welcome everyone. I'll just give it a couple of minutes till people come in. I don't know whether I can see how many peoples are watching because Facebook keep changing the thing that we live stream through. So I don't know. I can see comments. So if you're here and watching, welcome, and pop in a comment to say hello. I can't really see my screen. What does it mean if I press expand video? Oh, that expands it from like a postage stamp to a slightly bigger postage stamp. Thanks, Facebook. Oh my god. It's been a while since I live streamed, and every time I come to live stream they change settings within Facebook. It's so annoying. Hi Margaret, how you going? So we've had loads of new people like and follow the Facebook page. So hopefully some of you newbies will be joining us. So welcome. So I thought I'd play with some of our April releases. Hello Leanne from Langwarrin in Victoria. I'm actually in Bendigo, Victoria. So it's the same state. That's really cool. And hopefully my computer plays nice because today it was playing really, really slow. Hi Tabitha, how you going? I apologise for the lack of lives this year. This year's just been one of those years. Who can believe it's after Easter and it's the middle of April already? Like, wasn't it just Christmas yesterday? I don't know. Is the year zipping by as fast as it is for me? Really? Seriously? Hi, back to the kid, Tabitha. Hi. Hang on, just catching up on comments. Hi, Jeannie. How you going? I do apologise if you mispronounce your name. I mispronounce everything. So I've made a New Year's resolution, actually, funny story, to do a live a week. 4.5 months down the track, I actually get on to do it. Oh my god, the last 3 months have just been, just been fun. I'll put it that way. A lot going on. But I'm determined to get on tonight and do it. So I've just put up today our new release for April. Now, if you went to the Hillbilly Scrap and Retreat in February, you would have had a sneak peek of all our products and a chance to buy them. So we've got a bunch of new stencils. I didn't grab all of them. I'm really not prepared for today. I didn't get everything done today I wanted to for the new release. I've got little videos of all the products to go up on social medias, which I'll do after this. It's just... I get waylaid a lot during the day. A phone call comes in and it takes me away from doing what I plan to do. But I did grab a bunch of stuff to play with, and before I forget, there's also a big clearance section on the website. I have been cleaning and sorting my craft stuff. Yes, I clean occasionally. And I found some things that I've doubled up on and found some old stock that I used to sell at the shows many years ago. It's still in perfect condition. It's just... older stuff I want to get rid of, so I popped all that up on the website. They're limited quantities of some stuff, and only one of other stuff. And as I said, some things I've doubled up on and I've found doubles, so I thought let's just find them a new home. It's just saying the frame rate is too low. Hopefully it's working alright. Let me know if it's not. Not much I can do because I don't really understand technical frame rates. Anyways, I grabbed a few of our new stencils to play with. So we've got a few abstracty ones this time. So I thought we might play with these. So they're even in the packages. I just grabbed these out of stock. I don't have a set of these for myself yet. This time I did a bunch of mark making stencil-y things in the little stencils. Mainly because I'm not very good at mark making. So if I'm not very good at it, it's some other people might not be as well. And it's good to have the little marks so you can just sponge through them and you don't have to worry about trying to make them yourself. So there's a bunch of those. And I grabbed a couple of words. I don't know which one I'm going to use. It's okay not to be okay, or as good as it gets. Or I may do a double page and stick them both on. Don't know yet. Did grab a couple of napkins. My daughter Alexis, my 15-year-old, sells paper napkins on my website. And they're going very well. You girls love your paper napkins. So this one's a new one for, what month are we? April. This one is last month's release, which was last year. But I grabbed this to grab my colours because I didn't know what colours I was going to go with. So paper napkins are great to use in your art journal. We sell them in a pack of 2 of the same design, starting at 75 cents, going up to $3, depending on where we get them from. Most of them around 75 cents, $1. Everything's going slightly up. So a lot of the new ones were 90 cents. Oops. Everything's going up lately. It's ridiculous. So the paper napkins are great. So we're going to use those in our art journal. Obviously, these ones are more for backgrounds because they're more generally patterned ones. Can I put my hand on the rest of them? How deep do I have to go in my bucket? Oh, about there. So this looks like the rest of the pile for this month's release. So we've got some word ones. I love this one. Can't wait to use this and just cut the H off for hangry. Sorry for what I said when I was angry. I thought that was cool. So we've got wipe that smile off your face. I thought that was fun. So we've got a lot of picture-y ones, got some Australian ones. This one's gorgeous. Some of these I can't wait to get in and do. Had plans for this one for Easter, but well, yeah, that didn't happen. God. I just can't get organised lately. Believe in magic. So there's quite a variety of patterns and different ones that Alexis picks. Oops, mermaids. They'll be fun to play with. This one, I can't wait to do something with the hot air balloon. That should be fun. Some rainbows, and we've got flowers. I believe we've had that one before, but sold out. And I found another pack when we're out and about. And then some more gum leaves. They seem to be popular. Anything is Australian is popular. We actually sent napkins to somewhere overseas the other day. Can't remember. Somewhere in Europe. Sweden? Somewhere like that. So we've got some more Australiana ones. These ones are gorgeous. These birdie ones. So lots of different styles. I think Alexa's up to about 800 napkins. She keeps buying them when we go out. Some more blue ones. All blue and white ones seem to be the theme of finding lately. These ones are gorgeous too. Can't wait to do something with the blue and white version. That's a quick flip through of the napkins. They're all available on the site. And we actually have a 20% discount on all our new April releases. Whether it's napkins. What else have we got? Chipboard. I've got 2 of those. Napkins, chipboard, embellishments, or stencils. So there's 20% off. 20% off until the end of April. I can't talk, and I got things flashing up the computer screen. So 20% off all products in the new release April section, and the discount shows in your shopping cart. So when you first click on the item, I don't know why Shopify does that. It doesn't show the discount, but when you add it to your cart, it magically shows the discount. Technology. Okay, let's get started. Let's put the words out of the way. We're going to start with stencils or napkins. We'll start with some napkins. Let's put those up there. I'm just going to grab, I'm working in it looks like a Delusions journal, but it's not. It's actually from Riot Art and Craft. It's not the best paper, but I wanted to try it out. Stop flashing up that it has frame rate low. I don't know how to fix it. Computer, leave me alone, silly computer. So yeah, this one's from Riot Art and Craft. Has cream pages, and we might do a double page. I just need to find something to put under here so it's not so on an angle. Hang on, I didn't think of that. Oh. Another art journal will work. It's not as big as I wanted it, but that's all right. I might just put this table down a fraction. Sorry, take you on a ride. I love my new table. It's one of those electronic ones that go up and down and up and down. Okay. Yep. What are we going to start with? We're going to start with some paper napkins. Am I going to use both of them? I think so. Hi, Rosie. How you going if I haven't said hi? First live for the year, but endeavour to do more. My life is crazy at the moment. Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm the queen of rescheduling appointments. That's my issue at the moment. You just make plans and I go, right, Sunday night, I'm going to go do this and this and this for the week, and then something happens Monday morning and your whole week goes to a hell in a handbasket, as they say, and everything gets changed. So when you get napkins, whether you buy them from us or purchase them from other places, they either are 2-ply or 3-ply napkins. So that means they're 2 layers or 3 layers, and we want to separate those layers and just have the top layer. So that one's come off quite easily, and it looks like that's a 2-ply. I'm just looking for something that I can show you. A trick. What have I got? Nothing right in front of me. That's always the way. Okay, so a trick to tell if it's got another layer on it is you grab something with writing on it, like book text usually, but I'll use my matte medium. And I pick it up and I put it over the top of it, and see how it's all cloudy? So I'm thinking, unless it's just a thick napkin, there could be another layer on here. So let's have a bit of a fiddle. And I reckon there might be another layer on here. So I'm going to tear this up anyway, so if I tear it separating it, I'm not really perturbed. And I think I can see another layer. The first layer usually comes off easily. The second layer is sometimes a bit tricky. Maybe this is just a thicker napkin. I think it is. I think it's just a thicker design, because usually when you tear into it, you can see the 2 layers of the napkin. No, that one's only 2 layers when we take it off. Let's see if we can do this one. This one should be 3 layers. So you can usually tease them at the edge, and some napkins are stubborner than the others, or sometimes I tease them a bit in the middle and then they'll just come apart. Really, did I pick stubborn napkins today, did I? Oh, I can see it at the edge. There's one layer coming off. Actually, do I have a piece of book text? I'm that disorganised today. It's not funny, but that's nothing new lately. Actually, I have a London map book. Oh. So I've just taken that first layer off here. That's a bit better. See how you can just see it through? If it's a lot more cloudy, you know that you haven't taken enough layers off. Let's check this one. Oh, you can just see it's just a fraction thicker. Might use some of the matte book actually now I've pulled it across here. Okay. So I'm just going to tear this into chunks and whack some down on my page. I don't really know what I'm doing tonight. Yeah, Rosie, you do what you like. Life is hectic, yes. And you throw a teenager in the mix, and life is just hilariously fun. And my teenager has a few medical needs and a few special needs, so that's always fun too. And trying to deal with government departments. If I didn't have to deal with certain government departments a lot at the moment, I'd be a lot happier and have a lot more time. But yes, you only can do what you do. So I've been trying to get a couple of pictures up on Facebook every week with examples of using my stuff. So I craft a little bit. It's just I don't have at the moment the blocks of time. And I forgot paintbrushes. I don't have huge blocks of time at the moment. I may get 15, 20 minutes to myself. So I'll sit down and fiddle a bit in my art journal. I might have these going sort of stripies. But I'm endeavouring to get pictures up. I am finalising what details I would like a design team or brand ambassador or whatever you call yourselves nowadays to do some promoting with my products. I just need to finalise what exactly I want them to do, and then I'll advertise for that. So I'm hoping to have that out very soon, and people can, if you haven't heard of a design team member or a brand ambassador, basically you get sent free stuff, you create layouts with it, and then I get to promote those layouts and projects on my social media in a nutshell. So I'm hoping to have some more people on board to do that the second half of the year, which would be nice. But the what we call the design team call, or the applications for that, will be hopefully out soon. I've just got to finalise how often I want you to do it, what I want you to do, and make it easy for everyone. I don't want to make it too difficult. Some design teams require you to do a lot of work, and that just sounds like a lot of work. Okay, so when gluing napkins down, you have to use a really It's going to be a fun live. A really thin adhesive, it works better. So I like acrylic matte medium, and it doesn't matter if you've got Montmartre brand, this one's nearly empty, or Liquitex. I prefer Liquitex, but it's quite an expensive brand. If I could buy it all the time, it'd be great. But Montmartre works just as well. So sometimes if you find a cheaper brand that works just as well, we can use that. So I'm just clicking those. My computer keeps putting things up saying the video's not working, but I'm sure it is. So the way I like to do it is, and this one's got goop all over the top of it, is put a bit down where I'm going to put my napkin. Now this dries clear, so it doesn't matter if you get it anywhere that your napkin's not going to go, you're not going to see it. You want to put your napkin down. I want to butt that right up the top. I want to slowly place your napkin down. Once the napkin gets a bit wet, it gets very fragile. So you don't want to go over it too much. I think that was one squirt and it was gone. Let's give it a shake. And I usually want to put a layer over the top. I'm just using a silicone brush. Normally I'd use one of my paint brushes that are dedicated to matte medium, but they're over on the sink and I forgot to grab them. Silicone brush works just as well. So you want to be extra gentle when you're doing it over the top. You don't want to be rough because you can tear the napkin. If you tear it, doesn't really matter. In the background, most of this is going to get covered up anyway. Just making sure I put this down the right side up. It's a bit duller or a bit less black on the other side, so you could always put that down. I need some more need some more goop. I think that goop is, let's stick it upside down and see if we get any more out of it. This one's got plenty left in it. So this matte medium, not gel. Gel is a thicker one. This matte medium is, what is that? Oh, it's a big blob of it. Let's get that out of the way. This matte medium is also great for napkins, tissue paper, rice papers, collage papers. They're all basically thin papers that different companies produce, and it's good for all of those. So it's good to have in your stash. Just be careful if you're buying one, you want one that says matte. There's another product that's exactly the same. It says gloss. And gloss will obviously give you a glossy finish, which I don't like. If you want a glossy finish, that's the one you want to pick up. But I like the matte one. So just transferring some of the extra over there. So your napkins will stick down a bit bumpy, but that's okay. They'll have a bit more texture in them than a flat bit of paper, but I like the texture. So I hope everyone's having a fun Friday night. Oh, come here. So this is in the background. A lot of this will probably be covered up. You may not see a lot of it, but I really don't know what I'm going to do on the page. So I really don't know where things are going to show. So as my art journals go, I just start sticking stuff, and then eventually it may get covered up, it may not, depends. So I just want to sort of scrape the extra off. I don't want big blobs of it because it will take too long to dry. Be naughty and scrape this back into here and hopefully don't stick my lid together to my jar. I like this, it's got a squeezy top because you can just squeeze some onto your surface, which is really cool. Okay. Yeah, let's go stick some dots on now while we've got... I ripped some of these up. Let's go with some of the dots, why not? We'll go dotty today. Let's stick that bit up there. I'm just going to fuzz the end here. So napkins tear really easily just by tearing them, like tearing paper. Or if you want a specific area and a bit more controlled tear, you can take a damp paintbrush, sort of paint on the napkin where you want to tear it, and then you get a bit more controlled tear. But in the background, I don't care. I just tear chunks off. Now I want that to go to the top, sort of. So this one, and also the black one, when you have a lot of white space on your napkin, it's going to almost disappear. I'm starting with a cream page, so the creamness of the cardstock, creamness of the cardstock is showing through. But when you're looking at napkins, so when you look at something like this, the dots are going to stand out on your page, and the whiteness is almost going to disappear. More so on a white page, but I didn't have time to gesso the page, so hey, we're just going with it tonight. So is anyone crafting along, or you just sitting there listening to me on a Friday night? Or is anyone crafting anything? Or I like to sometimes put lives and videos on in the background when I'm crafting. It feels like I've got a friend crafting with me. Someone talking in the background. So I often do that when I'm sitting there crafting. I'll have someone on, one of my people I watch on YouTube. I'm going to overlap this one. I also picked these two napkins because I picked the abstracty stencil. So it's sort of going to be a bit more of an abstracty page tonight. I don't do a lot of abstracty pages. I thought something different. I like doing things in threes. So I've got 3 pieces of the black and white, I don't know, diamondy design. I can't even remember what we called that one. We're having fun coming up with names for the napkins. I'm going to make sure I've got 3 bits of the dots. And where am I going to put the other bit of the dots? Am I going to put it here? Or am I going to put it here? I'm going to put it there. Put it this side. So I've sort of got building my elements up, but I was going to say not in midair, but that one is in midair, but we'll just ignore that. So when I add elements, I'm going to turn that one around. I like to sort of overlap them or put them next to each other, so I don't have things that are floating in the middle of my page. We'll just ignore that gap up there. I'll fill that in with some paint in a minute anyway, and you won't know the difference. So I try to avoid things floating. I think that's just a me thing. So, hang on. Scrolling up for comments. So Rosie's listening. Oh, Tabitha, you're ordering pizza. Can you send a slice this way? I don't know what I'm going to do for dinner yet. I'm home alone tonight, and when I'm home alone, I really get that I can't be bothered cooking. Oh, Tabitha, you're sick again. Oh, that's no good with a cold. Touch wood, we haven't been sick for a while. I had enough of that last year. Oh, I might just throw a microwave meal in the oven when I get off the live. I don't cook much when I'm on my own because cooking for one person is not fun. Cooking for 2 people when one person doesn't eat a lot of variety of stuff is not fun either. So, yes. So I am home alone tonight. Oh, I'll correct that. I'm home alone with 2 fluffy bunnies. So not exactly home alone. I'll have to let them out later for their run through the house. So I'm just going to quickly give that a bit of a dry. It doesn't have to be 100% dry, but it's still a bit wet. Got napkin stuck too. Just going to grab a baby, that'll do. Baby wiper tissue and clean off the matte gel from my silicone tool. As you can tell, I don't clean it perfectly because it's got all lumps and bumps over it. But those silicone brushes are fantastic. So obviously my test to see if things are wet is to stick my hand in it. So it's probably about 80% dry. It doesn't have to be 100% dry for the next step because I'm going to add paint to it. But now I've got matte medium on my fingers. Let's get rid of that. Gotta love the baby wipes. I'll buy more of them now than I did when Missy was a baby and Miss daughter was a baby. Okay. Sorry, trying to keep my book straight. Well, it looks like my camera's crooked. Apologies about that. Now, paint colours. I grabbed a rainbow of colours and I grabbed white. Basically, I looked at the napkin colours and tried to match up what colours were in them. And traditionally, you sort of keep to warm or cool colours on a page, but I'm going to make a rainbow page tonight and break all the rules. So I grabbed Dina Wakley paints, which are my favourite, in lime. I need to go restock some of these from my friend at Hillbilly Scrapping. Can't read. Turquoise. Oh, that's white. Lemon. Fuchsia. Now, that might be a bit dark, but we might use that in limited bits. Ruby, which is red. And then I didn't have an orange in the Dina Wakley one. I didn't like the Sedona. It was not orangey enough, so I grabbed a Delusions, and I mix these up all the time, and this one is Squeezed Lemonade. So, I may not use all the colours, I may use all the colours, I don't know. Let's throw some colour down. And I possibly should have put the coloured napkin on after the paint, but whatever. It's down now, we are just going to go for it, and I'm going to do some finger painting because that is fun, and I like to finger paint. Now, what colour are we going to start with? I don't know. Let's go lightest to darkest. Let's go lightest to darkest. Let's go, I don't know. I suppose lightest to darkest. So let's put some paint in 3 different sections and just give it a bit of a squish. Now, the paint's transparent. Yes, transparent's the word I'm looking for. I was talking to Alexis before she went to her dad's, and I couldn't get a word out of my mouth, and the more I tried, the more I stuffed it up. So, I don't know, words are not my friend today. It's a bit translucent when you put it on really thin, so you'll still see the colours and patterns of the napkin underneath. And I usually do this standing up. Let me move my microphone just out of the way. When I'm doing backgrounds, a lot of the time I will finger paint or hand paint and get my whole hand in it because, I don't know, I like touching my journal and I like the feel of it. And it saves washing a paintbrush. Is that just because I'm lazy? Oh, now I can't get the lid back on the paint. Oh, God, it's going to be one of those nights, is it? When my brain is just not functioning. I've got to the end of a busy fortnight, and I am tired. But we will get there. And putting the paint on this thin, it's almost dry, apart from the layer I have on my fingers. So that's really good as well. So for me, art journaling is more about time to play and time out of my busy day. If I don't make a masterpiece at the end, or if I don't quite like what I've made, which happens quite often, I don't mind. I'm having fun. I'm playing. I'm getting messy. That's why I art journals. So I don't. Oh, now I've got paint all over the top there. So I don't sort of get hung up in perfection if I put too much paint in the one spot. Doesn't bother me. So I'm putting it again, the paint in 3 sections. Sometimes I forget to explain why I'm doing what. I just get carried away and just do it. So if you got any questions, pop them in the chat. And you can sort of, when you rub your fingers over the textured napkin, you can sort of feel its texture as well. I'm wanting to... I've been standing up a lot and art journaling, so I'm actually sitting down tonight and I'm just got stuff all over my desk and not enough room. I've got to clean up my desk. Is anyone else like that? You sort of start crafting and you work yourself into such a small area that you've got available because you don't put stuff away after projects and you just keep adding to the mess, which I really need to get some storage around my desk so I have places for things and things go back in their places. Are things going to go back in their places? Probably not. But if I can have little caddies and drawers and I don't know. But it's also hard with my desk because it goes up and down. I've got to watch what I put on it because things could fall off it. I don't know. Haven't quite worked out my desk situation yet. We are getting there. Lime is one of my favourite colours. But I don't like green. We're doing a lot of stuff with green lately. I don't know what that's telling me. So as you can tell, I'm putting less of each colour on. Okay, yeah, words are going to be fun tonight. Rosie, very much a messy crafter. Yeah, I tend to not put stuff away and just grab out more than I can ever use, and yeah, get very messy. And I lose stuff all the time. I'm trying to be better at not losing stuff, but I don't know, I'm sort of liking that. We're going to do some stenciling over the top. We need another colour. Do I want to bring in blue? I think I'm going to use this fuchsia as a more accent colour with some of these small stencils because it's so dark. But I've got 4 colours. I want to do another one in the background. Do I want to do ruby or blue? Red or blue? Blue. I think I might leave the red for a top colour as well. I could add storage to the wall behind my desk. It's just that involves getting someone into the house that can put stuff on the wall that doesn't fall off. Tried to get hire a hubby or a handyman in last year to do a couple of jobs, and yeah, didn't really work. We're still waiting on him to come back. Oh, God, I'm sick of chasing people. Yeah, that could work. I'll get something. Maybe put something behind my desk I can hang off stuff. Oh, that might work if I put a bit of chip, like pegboard or something behind my desk. I could do that. I'm not good at putting things into walls, but I'm good at making temporary things. Doesn't mean I'd actually put stuff back where I'm supposed to put it if it actually had a home. Yeah, maybe a bit of pegboard along the back and then I can hang little boxes and stuff off it. I don't know. I'd probably be more productive if I had something like that because then I'd be more organised, maybe. I don't know. Or can I just get someone to come in and do it for me? Can someone just come in and make my art space very nice and neat and unorganised it all? That would be nice. But then I probably wouldn't be able to find anything. I think we're always like that as crafters. We never have the perfect setup and we're always looking for something different. And we always have too much stuff too. I have way too much stuff for my space. And I tend to only craft with what I see in front of me. It's a bit blue. Let's get rid of some of that if I can. Maybe. Oh, a bit of it coming off. The blue's a bit blue. And then I need someone to come in and clean up my craft space after I finish. That would be nice. A personal assistant. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Personal assistant to clean up my mess. Sorry if I keep going out of frame. I will try and... Oh, I think my camera's crooked. That's why my book's crooked. Oh well. Okay. Not particularly liking the blue, but that's okay. Now, let's do some stenciling. What do I want to do? I'm going to stencil with some of the same colours I've used. But do I want to go these smaller stencils or do I want to go big stencils yet? Let's go with... I don't know. Yeah, let's go with the bigger stencil first. Let's go with this big one. I might change my mind in 2 minutes. So I thought this stencil would be good to do some Zentangling and stuff in between. Where am I going to throw that? I'll throw that over there. Now, what colour? Excuse me, what colour am I going to go with? I think I want to add some subtleness. Subtleness? That's not me at all. Where's the orange? I want to add some subtleness into the background. We'll just move this bit of paper. You need a PA too. Can they sort your storage in at the same time? Aren't there professional people that come in and organise your houses? That would be fun. So I'm just going to use the paint with a makeup sponge. I just buy these cheap ones from Kmart. They're like $2 or $3 for, I don't know, 20 or something. Actually, I'm going to tone down this blue. I wonder if I put orange over the top of it. Hey, what's the worst you can make is mud, because they are opposite colours, but it's sort of dry. Yeah. What's the worst I can do? Stuff it up. Then I'll put white on top of it. So when I'm using a makeup sponge, I tend to pick up some paint and then dab off. I don't know whether you can see. It's such a small picture on my screen to see what the filming area is. So it's really hard to see details, and I can't see anyway. So I'm picking it up and I'm dabbing it off and working it into the sponge, because you don't want a big blob on your sponge, because that will make your paint go under your stencil. Yeah, the professional organisers would be expensive. And there's probably no guarantee it would stay organised after they'd left after 5 minutes, or me doing one art session. I don't know. What's this looking like? Okay, not terrible. I did want to tone down some of the blue, so we'll go with it. I'll do some outlining on it, and that will probably make it look a bit better anyway. So the Delusions paint that I'm using is a bit more translucent, there's that word again, or a bit more see-through than the Dina Wakley one as well, so that doesn't really help. Yeah, okay, not really liking that. Okay, let's change colour. Let's go red. Let's use the same sponge, then it'll be like reddy orange. Now can I line it up again? That'll be the fun bit. Excuse my head for a bit if it's in the way. I can't see until I move my head, and then I can't tell if it's in the way or not. Here we go, we'll go a bit red. Okay, obviously did a very poor... What am I doing? Poor job of lining the stencil up, or I didn't stencil properly. No, I wasn't stenciling properly. Liking the red or ruby a bit better. I often pick colours that don't really go together and just make them work. But that's okay. It's sort of creating a border, so that's kind of cool. Maybe we do another chunk up this side. Okay, that's looking a bit better than it was. So let's go up here, and then it's sort of got corners. Or a corner border. Whoops. As I said, this is going to be more sort of an abstracty page, so I don't know. A lot of the times I don't know where my art journal page is going till it sort of gets there. I sort of have an idea. Whoops, I just put my sponge in that yellow instead of red. Like I decided to pick these two stencils, these napkins, and maybe the words, but apart from that, I sort of have no idea where what's going to go. Until I sort of do it, if that makes sense. Let's put a little bit here because I can. Whoops, I'm going to move that book down. Hang on. Without moving the stencil. My book that I put under this side, because I'm in the first couple of pages of my journal, is not as big as my journal. Let's just sort of combine that, join that up if we can. That a bit darker. Oh. Trying to line things up again is always fun. Really? Really? Oh, I had in totally the wrong spot. Oh, no wonder I couldn't line it up. Seriously. Need a little bit more ruby. Oh! There goes the lid of the paint. Let's see if I can grab that without. turfing anything else on the floor. And I'll catch up with comments in a minute. Let me finish this. I want this to be a little darker. Now it looks funny because it stops. Oh, I don't know. Let's do this little bit here, and it's sort of like a wave. Yeah, let's do it like a wave. Okay. Yep. Oh, you're watching someone on YouTube and there are different sorts of crafters. I'm probably a butterfly as well. I tend to only craft with what I can see because if I don't see it, I don't remember I have it. I'm hopeless. I've got boxes and boxes of stuff packed up and I don't tend to go in there because it's, yeah, out of sight, out of mind, if that makes sense. Now, I'm kind of liking that. Do I want a bit up here though? Let me give that a little bit of a dry and then I'll think. I sort of want a bit more stenciling in here, but I want it to be quite subtle. That red is quite red. So we might go with some yellow over the orange, I think. Where'd my yellow go? I'm going to grab a new sponge because I really don't want red in my yellow. So I'm trying to make a background, but I am not wanting it to be too bright at the moment. But that red is quite bright. But I can tone that down in a minute with some pen work over it anyway. Okay, dokie. Let's go in with some yellow. Probably not going to see it all that well, but it's going to be, can't see it much at all. I don't know. Maybe yellow. Yellow was not the right choice. I didn't want to do green, and blue's too bright. Oh, maybe green. Maybe we'll go green and yellow. Oops, a bit too much paint on my sponge. So I've mixed a bit of green and yellow in, and it's a bit more subtle. Give me some line work and stuff to bring out when I get to the pen stage. Let's like do it. Maybe we'll do a circly bit. And we'll do a bit over here. I like this abstract stencil because you can sort of pick bits out of it that you want. You don't have to do the whole stencil. Let's do this bit in here. I know at the moment it's looking a bit of a hot mess, but hey, hopefully it will turn around in a minute. All pages have to go through ugly stages, right? Or I hate it stage and I want to throw it in the bin stage. That a little bit of a dry. So I'm wanting to keep this sort of area a bit more plain and this area a bit more plain for my words to go. I don't do a lot of abstracty stuff like this, so I'm out of my comfort zone. Let's see if we can throw some more marks or something on it. I think it needs, these are quite small marks, so I think they're going to go, oh, that one's not. Maybe I'll do some lines. So I tend to go bigger stencil, medium stencil, smaller stencil, or bigger marks, medium marks. Some of these come with the big chunks, the big stencily bits, which are fun to play with. It depends if they're big enough to grab out of the machine and not really tiny. I throw those in your package as well. So I'm going to use this little bit on the end to do some marks this way with some paint. Because I've got this sort of going up and down, I want to do some more up and down marks until I decide I want to do them the other way now. What paint am I going to use? What colour? Got stuff everywhere. As you can see, I don't clean my stencils after I've used them. Some people do clean them. I tend to only clean them when I use texture paste or something that will dry raised. If I'm using paint or ink, I just let it go. And it doesn't matter that it builds up. It will just dry on the stencil. You can wipe it off with a baby wipe. Okay, I need another sponge. Or I'll just use the yellow one. That'll work. Might tone down the blue a bit with a bit of the yellow. Okay, so I'm going to start up here with the blue. And bring that down here. Oh, I'm liking that. So then we might go up here. And then we might go over here. Starting in the blue, so the blue's sort of connecting, so it's not just floating. Or hopefully not floating. And even though you're not really going to see it, am I going to put one, or just a half of one in here. Now I want that in another spot. I'm going to bring it down. I flip my stencil around because I want the littler bits. Bring it down here. And, oops. So these stencils would be great to also draw through as well. We might do some of that a bit later. What are we going to do now? I really like that. Let's grab this other stencil. Hi, Brenda. How you going? I'm making a mess, Brenda. It'll get there eventually. It's just going through that, oh my God, messy stage. And trust me to do this page on a live, but oh well. You might be getting shown tonight what not to do, hey? I'm going to go in with some of this ruby with these spots and these spots, I think. Let's give that blue a bit of a dry. What I'm going to do is just... What's the chance of taking these out and not getting them messy? Probably no chance at all. I'm just looking at size. I think I'm going to put this one this side and this one this side. But let's leave them in their package because the chance of them not being white in 5 minutes is a high chance when I take it out of the package. Okay, let's go in with some red. I love my glass mat that I got from Hillbilly Scrapping. Get all my stuff from my friend at Hillbilly Scrapping. Because I can put my paint on it and then it wipes off really easily, which is good. Now, what am I going to do dot wise? I think I need some up here. And hopefully these don't turn purpley coloured because it's red and blue. Let's go a bit over here. And a bit over here. I'm actually teaching at Jen's Hillbillies retreat that's coming up at the end of this month. Virtual retreat. That's going to be lots of fun. Oh, I like that. Just got to watch this one doesn't look like blood spots. Because we're doing it in red and it's like drips. We're sort of, again, sort of starting it or putting it really close to other pieces. I'm not just sort of putting it in the middle. And I also want to keep the middle sort of fairly plain to put the words. So this is almost going to be a border around the words, if that makes sense. Clear as mud, right? Yes, clear as mud. I like it when the mark making overlaps. I watch a few YouTubers and they do it so effortlessly, and Neve Bailey's one of them. And she just does amazing stuff, and it's like, oh, I try it, and then it looks like this. But once I put some paint pens and colours around my blobby things, I think it's going to look really good. Or better than it is. Okay, am I done with this colour? 1, 2, 3 spots. And I think it needs some black at the end as well to complement here, because there's no black anywhere else. Am I finished with paint? Am I, or do I want to do some more? I think I need my blue sponge back. I think I might do some. This one almost looks like a fingerprint. Might add a bit more blue going this way, just to be different. I was going to keep everything going up and down, but hey, we just broke that rule and decided to do it this way instead. When you run your stenciling into where your paint is, it looks like it's joined and it doesn't look like it's floating, which is really good. Looks like someone's put their big fingerprint on my page. Might do a bit down here. And a bit up here. Getting carried away now. I'm probably making a dog's breakfast. That's right, it's a pretty colourful dog's breakfast. What am I going to do now? I think we need to bring some of this purple in, and then I think we need to do some line work on it, or some. I did grab some washi tape, but I don't know whether I'm going to add that or not. Haven't decided. Trying to use up my stash of... Cannot talk tonight. Trying to use up my stash of washi tape. Where did that other stencil go I had? See, I lost something already. Ah, it's up there. Oops. I'm going to have one big mess to clean up after I'm done. Now I want to use those really small dots because this purple is quite strong. I don't want it to overtake. Do I have another sponge? Yes, I do. I don't want it to overtake the colours on the page. Probably not my most favourite piece I've made lately, but I'm having fun. I am liking these mark making stencils because it's making it really easy to get marks on my page without sitting there and thinking, what shape do I want? Oh, that one's a bit smudged, but it doesn't matter. So I'm sort of trying to leave, I think we need some dots up here. So that's what happens down there if you have too much paint in your sponge. It goops up underneath like it just did there. So I'm hoping to do maybe another live tomorrow. It just depends on, I've got some paperwork that is needs to be filed on Monday, so if I get that done I may come on in the afternoon and have another play. Let's not go abstract tomorrow. Let's do something something different. I don't know. I have to practice my abstract. But let's give that a bit of a dry. Let's just clean up my bit of paint here, because otherwise I'm going to put my arm in it. Usually, there's not much there, but usually I'll take that and throw it on another art journal page or on a bit of paper, but there's not much there. I'm just going to grab baby wipe and clean that up, as I can see my arm going into paint. And then my arm going into other stuff. Let's put that up there. So I'm going to get some pens out and do some pen work. Get some paint pens out. Ideally, if I wasn't on a live, I'd probably leave it half an hour to an hour for the paint to 100% dry. But seriously, I probably wouldn't, because I'm that impatient when I'm art journaling. But ideally, you want your paint to be really dry and your matte gel medium, because you will wreck your paint pens if you go in with wet paint pen. Wet work. And oh, thanks, Rosie. It's very different to what I do, so my brain's looking at it going, what? But it's growing on me. We're going to bring out, I definitely need some more black, because we've only got the black in the one area, and I'm going to do some outlining and stuff. So I actually bought these little pouches the other day from Daiso. We're down in Melbourne for a medical appointment. So this is all my black ones. I did have them just in a big pencil case, and I was always diving through to find which one I wanted. So I saw these little cases and I thought, oh, all my black pens are in, all my white pens are in the other. I have a habit of losing my paint pens and sort of shoving them off my desk and not being able to find them again. And paint pens, if you don't use them in a period of time, they can dry out. So I'm trying to keep, these are my open paint pens and only one of each type. But hey, look, I've got 3 small ones open. Aren't I naughty? Trying to keep only one pen of one size in the same colour open. Use it all up and then grab a new one. I do have a stash of new pens over in another area because I don't ever want to run out. So these are just Posca paint pens. And hopefully that one's sounding like it's running out. That one's sounding like it's running out. You can sort of tell by the tone as you use paint pens more often. They'll sound more hollow when they don't have... See, that one sounds different to these. These are obviously on their way out. But I might start with this one. So these are different type tips. So if you've not used Posca paint pens before, obviously there's paint in these pens. So when you first get them, they'll actually, these are black. They'll have a white tip here and you need to start your pen. So you start your pens by just pressing down and holding for about 5 seconds, allowing the paint to go to the nib. And when you've got coloured pens, that little white tip will turn to black. These ones are all being activated. You don't want to sit there and pump it up and down and up and down and up and down, because you'll actually wreck the little mechanism in here, and then your paint pens will just go blob everywhere. So you just got to be patient. You may push it down for 5 seconds and it not runs properly. Do it again. So what am I going to outline? And is my big head going to get in the way for everyone to see? So outlining and doodling and doing stuff like this is what makes my brain happy. So this is a medium-sized tip. This is it's called a PC1M, 0.7 millimeter apparently. So I'm not going to outline everything. And I'm hoping my head's not getting in the shot. Tell me if my big head's getting in the shot and I'll try to keep it out. Thing is, for anyone that's new, I do have low vision. And usually when I'm drawing like this, my head is a lot closer to my book than someone without my lousy vision has to be. And sometimes I wear glasses for distance. Sometimes I'll take those off. And I actually have to go get glasses for close up. Oh, I'm getting old. Take my glasses off and then my head has to be a whole lot closer. But I'm trying to keep my head back for you guys to not just watch my head. So, pictures of my head. So yes, I am stenciling around or drawing around the shapes. I could put the stencil back on. I don't do that a lot of the time because lining it up is such a pain in the butt. I just freehand it. And if it's a little wonky, it's a little off, it doesn't matter. So my sort of rule is, if that was very wonky. If I want to tone something down, so the red is quite red. Oh God, words. The red is quite intense on the page, and my eye is sort of drawn to that. This is more subtle. So if I want to tone something down, I'll outline it with black or white, depending on how I want to push it back into the push it back into the background or bring it out with highlights. So there's no sort of hard and fast rule of what, do I choose black or do I choose white or do I choose a colour. It's just personal preference. As I said, it doesn't have to be neat, and you don't have to do every single shape. You can just do a few of them and it looks good. Usually I don't talk when I do this. My brain's going into relax mode. Melinda, we're drawing around shapes, so I don't have to think anymore. And then I can take it one step further and I can actually add, and I think I will. This is why I liked, where'd I go? This is why I like this stencil. I can't wait to draw this in my little traveler's notebook, draw around all the shapes and just doodle in the shapes and add shapes. But that's probably something I'd do off camera and then just show you a photo of, because that would be boring as anything to watch me do that. So you can then fill in your little areas with some pattern. And I'm just doing lines. Sometimes I'll use the skinnier pen. Sometimes I'll use the thicker pen. It just depends what look I'm going for. So I'm just sort of doing, and I can't really see the shape here, so I'm just going to make it up. Just sort of doing the pattern in the shapes and drawing around the shapes till I'm sort of happy with how it is. You can do every second one. You can just do, I tend to not do something so technical because then I'll stuff it up and it'll look wrong. So I just sort of do here, there and everywhere. I might do this one. So I'm just doing little lines. You could do circles. You could do squiggly lines. It's just, yeah, giving it another look. I think I will leave that at the moment. I can always come back and add more. I want to bring, I'm going to have to turn my book. So that means I'm going to have to clean up a little bit over here. That stuff I've got. And throw it where? Oh, space where my monitor was. I had to move my monitor so I could see comments. So I'm going to do this bit here. So when I'm doodling, I tend to move my book a lot. So I'll move it over here. Then when I'm doing this, I'll bring this down to here. Mainly because I can't see if it's up there. But I like moving my book around when I'm doing this. And as you can see, I'm right-handed. So I'm working with shapes from the right and going to the left. Because this is a paint pen. So if I drag my hand over the top of the shape I've just done, I may smudge it. So just bear in mind, it is paint coming out of the pen. Or a thin version of paint. Like a thin consistency of paint. Oh, see words tonight. I think I need food. Yeah, so you don't want to smudge what you've just done. That was what I was trying to spit out in a long-winded way. Oh, seriously. So I'm just going to check that's dry. It doesn't take that long to dry. It's sort of, it's a bit shiny when it's wet, and then when it's a bit duller, it's dry. I go through loads of paint pens because I just love sitting here and doing this. If you're doing my class at the Hillbilly Retreat, you're going to need paint pens. We do lots with paint pens. It's going to be a fun class. I love teaching the virtual classes, and I love seeing what the other instructors teach as well. Now I'm going to do this bit. So I'm tending to stay in the same... Oh, this is going to be fun. Oh, I've got stuff all over my desk. So I'm tending to do the same sort of shape and the same sort of thing, like on this red bit down here, on this bit and this bit, and then I'll look at if I do other bits. So if I'm going to add white paint markings, I will keep it to the same. I may do the dots of the napkin, or I may go over these red dots, or I may go over this bit. So I'll sort of keep it consistent with where, whoops, and drawing over napkins is always fun because your paint pen just jumps around. And I've obviously gone over something that's not quite dry. So now my pen's being a pain in the... There we go, it's coming back again. So if your pen sort of stops working, you just take it to a bit of scrap paper, push it down again and count to about 5. Because these paint pens have a big barrel of paint, and they have a little valvey thing in here that sort of lets a little bit of paint into your nib. And if you use all that up, you sort of need to press it down to get more paint there. But don't go up and down, up and down, up and down, because you can damage the little valvey thing. I was watching someone on YouTube the other day using paint pens. And then your paint just like gushes out. Does that make sense? Clear as mud, right? So you've got to be gentle with your paint pens. And if your matte gel medium or paint's not dry, you can actually get the matte gel medium, especially because it's like a glue, in the tip of your paint pen, and then that spells disaster because it'll dry on your tip and then you'll wreck your paint pen. In saying that, the thicker tips are a bit more forgiving when you run over wet paint, but if you're using these thin ones, they're very temperamental. The thinner nibbed ones. I think this paint pen's on its way out because it keeps starting and stopping. I tend to use the paint pens until they're totally ran out. I keep trying to use them until there's not much paint left and they keep not working until I get really annoyed at them. Now I have this option here. This blue is over the top of the red. So if I draw around the red, it's bringing it to the front and pushing that blue back behind. What am I going to do? The red is behind, so I'm just going to do it around the blue, I think. We'll see what that looks like. Yeah, we'll just do something like that. And if you've only got half a shape and you want more of a shape, just make it up. Now we're going to do a few more stripy lines. Sorry, this might be quite boring. This is always how a page is finished. And the finishing part of it can bring your page from, oh, I'm not really liking it, to, I'm going to keep all my stripes going. I was going to say going the same direction, but I didn't down the bottom, so let's just go for it. So the last detail, whether you do black, white or coloured, it's what brings your page together. It does take a bit of time, but it's fun. You either like doing this detail or you don't. It's like you're either an art journaler or you're not. Okay, let's turn my book upside down again. Just making sure it is up the right way again. Oh, it's funny, it's a bit delayed looking at the camera. Okay, now what am I going to do? I'm going to bring a bit of white into it. Let's throw my words on the top. Where'd I put those? Oh, they got scooped off the table. Hang on. Ah! So these, oh, they're not really going to work, are they? They're not really going to stand out. Okay. We might be painting those. I thought they'd stand out. Not as much as I thought. So I like sort of the position of them. But they're not going to stand out enough. So how are we going to fix that? I could do them black. So these are made from, the white ones on our website are cut from 200, I think it's about 200 mixed media cardstock. A lot of the newer ones are cut from Big Arty cardstock, so you can paint and ink these. The black ones are cut from just, I think it's 200 GSM cardstock, so it's a lot thinner. So basically the black ones are just meant to stick on, but the white ones you can give some colour. I'm just wondering, do I paint in this purple colour? My idea was to leave them white, but yeah, it's not working. So let's just, because I want them to be dark, but I didn't want them to be black. That's why I didn't grab the black ones. See, I didn't really think through what colour. But I think, because what I can always do is do them in the dark fuchsia and then add some white highlights to them, like some white, put some white paint pen, oh god, words, seriously tonight, on them. So let's paint them and then we will see what, let's get that out of the way and let's push that up. So I've just got some drop paper or scrap paper. I'm going to put them on to paint. I may paint these and decide it's not the right colour and then we will have to start again. Let me put a bit on the back and stick it on. Actually, I think I like the colour. I think it's going to stand out. So I can make any combination of words you like. So if there's a specific phrase you want for your art journal, or say, for example, you go, oh, I like that as good as it gets, but I want to do it bigger on a canvas or bigger on a art journal page. I do a lot of custom work. Actually, about 50% of my work is custom work. Making stuff for people or altering stuff I make. If people want it bigger or smaller. Bigger is usually easy. Smaller, sometimes shapes just don't want to go smaller because they just, once you cut them, it just disintegrates and it's too small. But the worst I could say is no. And I can't do it. And it's usually not that expensive to get a custom piece done. I do a lot of names and travel places for people that you just can't find anywhere else. Oh, I'm liking that. So we'll do this one over here. So this drop paper is just, my daughter loves Cabana, so every time we order groceries, we have to go to the deli and get a stick or two of Cabana. So this is just the paper they wrap it in. It's like newsprint, and I use it as sort of drop paper to build up designs. I was testing out paint pens here. And then I will sometimes tear it up and use it as collage paper when it gets all pretty. So often when I'm painting shapes like this, I will not do that. This one's a bit fine. I will keep them in the same position, and sometimes you get a bit of an image to use later on. So I could tear these up and use them in collage in the back of the journal. This one is being, because it's so thin, it's being a little bit annoying because it keeps jumping over the place, and it's now stuck to my finger. Come on. Oh, I'm liking that better. And I think with some white highlights, or even actually black highlights, that might work too. Okay, now. And often when I got spare paint, I will just chuck it over here and it makes collage paper. It's amazing how much paint is in these sponges when you think there's none left. Let me just dry this so I can move my book back. Enough. Okay. So when I stick those on, I will do probably some black, even outline this one in black. I don't know whether I'll be able to outline. I could outline the outside of that one once I've stuck it down, and this one I might seriously, outline just on the inside of the letter just to make it pop a bit more. Let's see if I want to do some more pattern work or stuff on this page. I want to do some in white, so let's grab my white paint pens. Oops. I forgot I can't open this fully because they all fall out. Now, what thickness do I want to go? So I've got a mixture. I like trying out new pens. I actually bought a bunch of, these are very fine, Jelly Roll Secura the other day. This one works really well. Signo Uniball, we might do that. I like whiteout sometimes. So that's a small one. It's a smallish one. Let's get one of these jelly roll ones because they're very small. 05, 08. I think that's bigger. What's this one? 010. Go with 08. So let's just move these words off for the minute. And what time is it? Oh, 8:15. Have I been going for an hour and 15 minutes? Where does the time fly when you're doing stuff? Oh, I've got wet paint there. Hang on a minute. Let's see if I can find a baby wipe in my rubbish bin. Because otherwise I'm going to decorate the front of my journal. And I might want to decorate it not with blobs of paint, but actually pretty stuff at the end. I want to do some white, so let's do some... Why am I shaking a gel pen? Because I'm just used to picking up pens and shaking them. So I want to just do some gel pen. We're going to work today. Maybe we're not going to use the gel pen because it's going to be stubborn. Oops. Oh, that's making an awful scratchy noise. Let's try this one. Oh, this one works. Sometimes gel pens and I have issues. I have to get that one going. Sometimes it's just a matter of fact of maybe it's new and it's got... Sometimes if they're new, they've got a little bit of wax on the tip of the pen that you have to sort of clear off. So again, I'm not being very precise. I'm just adding a little bit of white and it's quite subtle, but it's something. I'm just going to move my book around. So has anyone got any good plans for the weekend? I've got a bunch of paperwork to do tomorrow. And then Sunday I've got to take Alexis to a Lego exhibition-y thing. She's really into Lego at the moment. So there's a Lego exhibition on Sunday. So we're going to go along and have a look. We actually helped part of the Lego exhibition at our Easter fair the other day. They gave you a little, I think it was a 4-inch by 4-inch block, and then you got a piece of paper with a pattern on it with the Lego pieces, and joined up to make a huge mosaic, which was, I don't know, could have been 4 or 5 meters wide. So apparently it's going to be on display at the weekend. So we get to go play Where's Wally and try to find our blocks that we made. That was fun. I asked the guy, I said... Whose job is it to pull it all apart and sort all the Lego bricks? He goes, not mine. Would be a fun job. So again, I'm not being perfect. I'm not looking for perfection. Just looking to add a little bit of white. This jelly roll pen. These are only fairly new to me. They seem to be working fairly well. Sometimes paint pens and gel pens don't like going over like the bumpy surface of the napkins or over the paint. Sometimes paint has a bit of a gloss to it, like the Delusions paint sometimes has a little bit of a gloss, so it doesn't like going over the top of that. What else do we want? I might want something a bit thicker. I think I want to put some scratchy circles around our circles. Just again to add a bit of a highlight. So if you find something sort of getting a bit lost in the background, you can add a highlight around it to sort of bring it forward a bit. And I'll do that up here as well. So this time I'm doing sort of 2 or 3 circles, but making sure that it's not perfect. I think we need some more black. Oh, Tabitha, so you've got a weekend by yourself because the kid has to work. Oh, that sounds good. You'll be home alone. What am I going to do? I was going to do some more black. I'm thinking this is a bit strong. I wonder if I try to knock it back with a bit of white gesso. It's just, yeah, let's do that. If I got white gesso, it's annoying me. Actually, I've got white paint. That'll be better. This, I just want to, it's just annoying me. Just want to knock it back a bit more into the background because then my border is more around the edge. So I'm just going to put some bit of white paint, and then I'm going to grab baby white and take a bit of that off. Probably took too much off now. There's that fine line between too much and too little. Okay, that's a bit better. Let's put a bit of white highlight there too, which is sort of cool. Okay, let's put our words back down. And I'm thinking it needs a bit of a strong black border to tie it all in together. Of some description. But all this down here or more up here? More up here, joining the dots. Okay, so let's stick those down and then we'll see what else we have to add. It's very different to what I do, so I'm on the fence of whether I like it or not. We're our own worst critics, aren't we? So I'm just using Couture Creations All-Purpose Art Glue. Just sort of hitting the fattest areas of the letters. Don't have to get it everywhere. This bottle does have a fine tip, which actually just took off. I may put back on to put that letter on. So we're going to get there. And I know I'm going to outline that in some sort of black to pop it out. And we'll also tie the black in as well, because we've still got black in the napkin, we've got black here, and we'll have black there, which would be good. Actually, I might get away with doing it like this. I need to refill my bottle. It's getting quite low, so I've got to wait for it to work all the way down to the bottom of the bottle. I sort of find with my art journal pages, I like to try a whole lot of different styles. As I said, I don't do a lot in abstract or sort of like this, but it's fun to have a go and get outside your comfort zone. What's the worst you've done is made a fool of myself on a live. If that's the worst thing I do. Where's this little cap gone? So these come with an optional metal tip. You buy them separately, and a pin. So you can get really close, sorry, not really close, a really fine tip if you're doing really small stuff. But then you can take the tip off if you want it to come out bigger. So it's awesome glue, that. So yeah, if you get to the end and you don't like your art journal page, what have you wasted? You've wasted a little bit of paint, a little bit of ink, a bit of time. And that white's annoying me now. So now we're going to throw some yellow on it, I think. Should have put yellow on it to start with. I don't know why I decided white. Whoops. That's a bit better. Now it's not so stark. We might just throw a bit of orange on it too. I sort of keep playing till I'm happy, and that's when I teach classes. I say to everyone, happiness is a different level. If you're happy, stop. Because you'll be happy at a different stage. I'm just trying to stick my fingertip in the top of the paint just to grab a little bit out. So everyone's happiness is different, and if you want to stop at any stage with your art journal page, you stop. If you want to keep fiddling, you keep fiddling. Oh, now I've got paint under my fingernail. Okay, that's a bit better. It was a bit white before. Okay, let's grab another baby white, clean up my fingers. I am thinking it does need a strong border around the edge. Do I have my... No, of course not. I wouldn't have my Dina Wakley ruler around anywhere that I could grab. So we might be just freehanding it in a minute. Oh, that's where the baby white went. Let me dry this off. Or does it need a black border? I like this bit a bit better. It's knocked the napkin back a bit. You can still see it's quite dark or black over here, but this has sort of knocked it back, so I'm liking that a bit better. Now I'm going to draw around here with a pen, paint pen. This might be fun. And then I'm going to draw. So this particular one, because the letters are so big, I'm going to... I should have done this before I stuck it on. That probably would have been handy. I'm going to try to draw around just on the inside of the letters. Yeah, definitely should have done this before I stuck it on. Note to self, do it before you stick it on so it's not in the middle of the page. But that's alright. I'll teach you the easy way to do it. Just don't do it the way I do it. Do it the way I say not to do it. Oh, some days I do things the hard way. If there's a hard way to do it, I'll do it that way. I like how that's standing out now. I do like that. Okay, now let's just do the rest of it so it matches. And then we're just about done. I'm debating whether to do a border around the edge of the page or not. Let's dry that so it doesn't get smudged. I like doing borders on my pages. I'm just trying to decide whether this one needs it or not. Sometimes I can't decide. I get very indecisive sometimes on an art journal page and don't know what to do. And I should have done the it first. You know how I said go from one side to the other so you don't drag across your hand in paint? Yep. Not doing that, am I? I'm doing it the hard way. And I apologise if my head's in the way. So I'm thinking maybe abstract pages are not really my strong suit. I don't know. It's fun just to play and get messy and... Oops, I ran off the letter. And try something different. Ran off the letter again. Trying to stay just like a mill inside the letter is fun. Next one will be easy because I'm actually going to use the... Oh, really? Yeah, that is about as good as it gets with my drawing ability. This one I'm actually going to draw on my art journal page around the letter. And use the letter sort of as a... Oops. I don't know why I've got an alarm going off at 8:30. I often set alarms on my phone, and then a few days later they keep going off, and it's like, what was that alarm for? Sorry, just checking. See, that wasn't Alexis texting me. So this time I'm drawing on my art journal page around the letters just to add that bit of pop of colour, because there's no way I'd be able to do it on the letter because it's so fine. But it gives you a different look. So going inside the letters and all around the letters. And this sort of grounds it. I do this a lot when I stick something to my art journal page. I will do a thin line around it, whether it's a picture or a title or something. It tends to just ground it to the page. Oops. And it's sort of adding a shadow to it as well. These two sayings probably sum up what my art journal or my page is like today. It's as good as it gets. That's okay. What's it say? It's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to have a perfect page. And I think that's where a few people that are beginning in art journaling get sort of a bit, I don't know what the right word is, put off, I suppose, or a bit almost defeated when they do a page because they look at someone else that's been art journaling for 10 years and it's beautiful and you admire it and they're great pages, and I do that. I admire a lot of artists that are doing fantastic work and beautiful pages. But if you're just starting out, if you like the page and you like what you've done, that's the only thing that matters. No one else has to like the page. No one else has to see the page, except if you're like me and share it all over the world. So art journaling can be quite personal as well. So if you are beginning or you're trying to compare your work to others, don't. It's your own work. It's never, even if you copied exactly what I did and followed along with the tutorial, you're going to use different colours, you're going to use different stencils, you're going to put things in slightly different places. So everyone's page and everyone's work is going to look different, which is the cool part about art journaling. Now I'm deciding whether it needs a border. I think it does, but what kind of border is the question. Maybe a washi tape border, but maybe in black. Let me grab my washi tape drawer. Oh no, I've got black ones on my desk. Hang on. I'm just going to stand up and stretch my legs for a minute. Grab my... This is my little black and white stash that I keep on my desk that I'm trying to use up. Not the numbers, that's too thick. Ooh, that one. That one? No, that one's too funky. One of these. Either the dots or the chevron-y one. And I think that might just finish it off. Sorry, just grabbing some glue. Oh, been sitting for too long. Doing lots of walking lately. My my legs are sore. Okay. Let me stick a little bit of this on. Oh, your pizza came cold. Oh, I haven't ordered pizza in ages because my Miss 15-year-old doesn't eat pizza, and it's a bit of a pain to, or bit of a waste to order pizza just by myself. Oh, I like that one. I do like that one. And I was a bit concerned I wouldn't have had enough to do these. Okay. You might have to microwave your pizza, Tabitha. That's terrible when delivery comes cold. I tend to only, if I'm ordering delivery, get something that's like fairly close, so the chances of it not coming cold is better. Because you don't know how long it sits at the restaurant until someone goes and picks it up. And if you get asked Alexis what she wants to deliver, it's always fish and chips. So I like to glue washi tape on with extra adhesive because the fact that it's a low tack adhesive, putting it over matte medium and over napkin and over paint doesn't like to stick and stay. So I've got this multi matte medium. So this is similar to this, but it's a thicker consistency and I've nearly used it all. So this is quite runny, but this is almost like whipped cream. You can grab some, and yeah, I do need another jar. This turned upside down, it won't come off. Yes, you could use this for your napkins, but the thinner adhesive is better. So I'm just going to do this with my finger. I'm trying to use up this little jar of stuff. When your products get down to almost nothing, there's a lot more air in your jar and it tends to dry out a lot more. So I may have to change to a different adhesive in a minute. But I don't sort of trust washi tape. Even if I'm putting it in the background to start with, I will always add extra adhesive to the bottom of the washi tape because usually it comes off. Hang on, I'll catch up with comments in a minute. I've just got goop all over my fingers and I don't want to goop up my mouse. Let me see if I can line this up. Ah! Peeling it up. Okay. Oh, this gel medium is so sticky. It gets everywhere. Oh, it should have been 8 to 10 minutes, but it took 30 minutes. Oh, that's terrible. Probably not a lot of drivers on to deliver your pizza. Yeah, cold pizza is not good. Unless it's the next day and then it's good. Cold pizza. I'm just going to trim this off. So I'm just going to add this washi tape border and then my page will be done. I think the border just is going to tie it all together. Or make it look a whole of a lot worse. Hang on. I'm determined to use up the last little bit of this goop in this jar. And then I can... Oh, look. See how much is in there. Because it's got a lot thicker than last time I used it, I can tell. I often, when I have large jars of liquids and things, I'll put them into smaller jars when they've only got a little bit left. And then, especially Vegemite jars. It's not Vegemite on my desk, it's black gesso. So then it fills up more of the jar and there's less air in the jar for the product to go bad. So we go through a lot of Vegemite in this house because that's Miss 15's only sandwich filling is Vegemite. Oh, I correct that. Vegemite and tuna. But not together. So we go through a lot of Vegemite. So I keep the jars and then use them for my art mediums. Especially if I buy stuff in bulk. Even if I buy stuff in bulk, I don't want a huge container on my desk. So I will often take it into a smaller container. Oh, I am liking the border on here. Oh. Okay, I've got 2 more sides to go. Flip my book around again. Very different page, but it's growing on me. I'm liking it a bit more. I think it did need something around the edge though. Bordering the pages, whether it's a squibbly, okay, time for food because I can't talk anymore. Whether it's I just put gel medium up there. Whether it's a scribbly border, whether it's a bit of washi tape like this, or whether it's a painted border, a stamped border, bordering your page just adds that extra touch to it. And it sort of stops your eye from wandering off the page when you're, it gives your eye a boundary to then, it's really difficult to explain. So when your eye's looking around the page, if it's got a border, it'll stop and come back and look in here. But if there's no border, it sort of keeps wandering off the page. Does that make sense? Clear as mud, right? I think that was something one of my art teachers told me in secondary school. Okay, I just realised these are going the other way, but I did that on purpose. I hate working with directional things, and never give me striped paper to work with. hate striped paper. I've just noticed I've got the chevrons going down, across, up, so I'll make sure they go the correct way across the top. And then it's all going around. I need a bigger workspace. Usually when I'm working, I don't have my computer monitor on the side of my desk, but I need it to see comments because I can't really see them on my phone. Okay, let's... Oops. I've got a very big shopping list of stuff I have to restock next time when I go to the Hillbilly May retreat in Ichukamauema. Her last retreat at Ichukamauema. It's a 5-day retreat and it's going to be loads of fun. But I have a massive shopping list of stuff I have to pick up because I keep running out of things like this gel medium. And it looks like I have to get some more matte medium as well because it's not left much in that second. But if I'm running out of things, it must mean I'm doing stuff. I'm playing. But anything with a liquid in your stash or an adhesive, like even washi tape, it all has a limited shelf life. So you may as well get in there and use it up, even if it's a bit precious, because things have shelf lives and nothing lasts forever, apart from pattern paper. That'll last forever. But anything with a liquid or an adhesive, where'd I put that bag of washi tape? I thought if I keep a little bag of black and white on my desk, I'm more inclined to use a bit more of it a bit more often. I used to sell washi tape back in the day when it was quite popular and I was doing shows 10 to 12 years ago. And that was when Alexis was a little younger and would help with stock and pricing when things come in. So every time we got a batch of washi tape, Mum, we don't have this design. Mum, we don't have that design. So we accumulated, and she used to love using it in her craft. She still does. We accumulated quite a few rolls of it. Oh, I've got that gel medium all over my fingers. I think that tub is completely gone. Now I don't think I'm going to get any more out of that. Where's my spatula? What sort of pizza did you get, Tabitha? You're going to make me hungry now. I'm going to want pizza, but I don't think I've got anything in the house to make pizza. I think I'm just going to have a boring microwave meal thrown in the oven because I don't have a microwave. So instead of a 5-minute microwave meal, it's like a half an hour oven meal. Sorry, just trying to get that back into frame. I wish Facebook would allow us to have our screen a little bigger. That would be nice. There we go. I think I like it with the border now. Oh, I didn't realise it was the first double page in my journal. Well, that probably sets the tone for the rest of the journal. Yeah, I'll do something about that page. Ick. I think I'm going to call it done. Because if I keep fiddling, I will keep adding stuff and then get to the stage where I regret the last step I did, which is very common for me. Oh, it just needs one more thing. And then I regret it and wish I could take it off, and sometimes you can't. But for an abstract page, I do like it. It is growing on me. I do like it. I could add some more decoration on the words. I could add a bit more doodling in the background, but I think I'm going to call it quits. I do like the busyness sort of on the border, so I've sort of bordered the page, but in here it's a lot less congested, if that makes sense. Is that a word? Oh, you like it, Rosie. Thank you very much. I will take some photos of it and pop up on the Facebook page, Scrapbooking and Craft, so you can see it a bit better, because I know sometimes in a video it's a bit hard to see. And I hope you all go and have a look at the new April release on our website. I was supposed to do it 2 weeks ago, but that didn't happen. And I had a whole lot of other stuff planned to do the 2 weekends ago, and it just didn't happen. But it's all up there now, and lots of different things. And we've got our sale on, so there's 20% off all the April new release items till the end of April. And that's an automatic discount. Doesn't matter how much you spend. You don't have to spend a certain amount to get the discount. And the discounts are only off the new release April product. So if you order anything else off the website, it's just its normal price. And there is a bunch in the clearance section under the sale tab. There is a clearance tab, and it's got a bunch of stuff that I found in my stash that needs a new home. There's some Tim Holt stuff in there that I bought twice and 3 times. And I thought, I really don't need this twice and 3 times. There's a couple of stamp sets. I know there's a I'm trying to think of the name. Dina Wakley one I bought twice. I am dreadful. And a few other things, and a bit of older stock, some tickets and a few bits and pieces. As I find more and clean more and unpack more boxes and destash a bit, I may pop up some more bits and pieces in there. So keep checking that section out. You never know what pops up in there. And I will leave you for the night. Thank you very much for coming along. I'm hoping to be a bit more regular with lives, but just life has been very, very busy the first quarter of this year, and just a lot of stuff on, and dealing with a lot of government departments, which are just not fun at all. So I'm thinking once a fortnight I should be able to come on and do a live. I do enjoy doing the lives, and I really missed it. And every time I've tried to come on and do one, something has just thrown the week into chaos, or I've had a bad day dealing with a certain government department, and I'm just not in that mindset to come on and do anything. You probably wouldn't want me to come on after those days, but it's just, yeah, it's but I sort of art journal by myself then and make myself feel a bit better. And trying to get chunks of time is the hard thing as well. So I will leave you all to your Friday night, and have a lovely weekend. And I will catch up with you again soon, whether it's at the Hillbilly Retreat, virtual retreat at the end of the month, or the one in May at the end of that month. That's creeping up very quickly. Or somewhere else. You never know where I pop up. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye for now. I'll go take some pictures and pop it up for you. See if this computer will let me end the live. Come on, computer. Be nice to me.